Hi, I'm Sofia Fonseca, and this is the ONLA podcast, a podcast on African archaeology and heritage. In our first episodes, we'll be interviewing the teachers for our online course on African archaeology and heritage that will be held at the Coursera platform at the beginning of 2021. We count on you to join the course. For now, listen to the teachers and enjoy. Welcome back to the podcast. Today we have with us Décio Muianga. Décio is a Mozambican archaeologist with a master's degree in prehistory and rock art. He is also an assistant professor at University Eduardo Mondlane in Maputo, Mozambique. Décio has developed projects in Mozambique, South Africa, Botswana and Zimbabwe, both in archaeology and heritage management. Nowadays he's working on his PhD on the Paleolithic of Southern Mozambique at University of Uppsala in Sweden. Décio is one of our teachers in the MOOC on African Archaeology and Heritage, and will be giving an introduction to African geography and also presenting the case study, Contacts of Hunter-Gatherers and Early Farming Communities in Today, Southern Mozambique. Hi Décio, welcome to the ONLA podcast. It's a pleasure to have you here. Finally, I'm having this conversation with you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be around always.
So, Décio, I would love to know, how did you become an archaeologist? It was something since you were a little one, or it was like before entering the university you had to decide it? How was it for you?
It's a long story. I think it started when I was in grade 5. I think it was the last day of school. A friend of mine invited to go to his place to watch a movie. And then his mother, she used to work for the Mozambican Airlines. She was flying, let's say, all over the world. And he invited me to go to his house to watch a movie. I think initially I didn't want to go because other friends, they wanted to go and play football. I said, no. And then I ended up going. And then that was Indiana Jones.
Really?
Yes.
That's amazing.
So this was like, I think 92 or 91. Yeah, that's Indiana Jones. That's when I sort of decided that was I wanted to do. And then since then, everything that I did in school was towards that goal since primary level. So I went from grade 5 all the way to university, just focusing on that goal. And then here I am.
And tell us, where are you now working? And because you are from Mozambique and you are a teacher in the Eduardo Mondlane University, but now you are not in Mozambique. Tell us a little bit about your journey.
Yes, I'm in Sweden now. For the past 2 years, I'm doing my PhD in archaeology. I'm still teaching at Eduardo Mondlane University at the Department of Archaeology and Anthropology, but at the moment, I'm sitting doing my PhD in archaeology, and my field work is in Mozambique. But I have other academic duties to do. That's why I spend most of the time in Sweden, and that's where I am at the moment.
And your research, you are focusing what aspect?
My project is about Stone Age, and I'm focusing on the last 300,000 years of humankind. The reason that I'm studying one specific archaeological site and the surrounding landscape is because the archaeological site that I'm excavating, the deposits and the sediments, they go down to 300,000 years ago, which is more or less Homo ergaster period in southern Africa. But the same artifacts that we found on the archaeological site, on the archaeological deposit inside the rock shelter, they also found on the open air sites around the rock shelter in a very wide area, geographical area. So what I'm trying to do is try to establish the sequence of the archaeological sites in the rock shelter, correlate with the open air sites, but also collect environmental data, pollen, seeds, to see how did the environment play a role on the way that these hominids explored the resources like in the past. So basically, that's my PhD topic. The same site has a little bit of faded rock paintings, so I might do a little bit of interpretation of those paintings and a better documentation because you can't almost see them with naked eye. So I'm using some softwares so that I can enhance the images and show that preservation it's very important for dissemination of archaeological information.
And where is the site exactly geographically, the location?
The site is in southern Mozambique, near the border with Eswatini, which used to be called Swaziland, and South Africa. So it's just within the famous Libombo Range, which is a mountainous area that separates the three countries.
Very interesting. Then you can even make some comparisons, I suppose, with the other studies in the region.
Actually, that's the idea: is that we connect with the studies that are very much advanced in South Africa and eventually Eswatini as well. So that's the idea. Because in the past we didn't have the modern borders that we have today. Because these borders that we have today, they're only 100 years. So that's why it's important to see the landscape on a much wider perspective.
Yes, of course.
And using my project, I'm able to connect with other colleagues, for instance, with Gregor in KwaZulu Natal in South Africa, but also with other colleagues from France that are working in further north in Limpopo area, in much further north of the Libombo Range. So that's the idea. And eventually, Jorg and Gregor also doing work in Eswatini. So that's the idea, is just to connect with the other geographical locations, especially on the other side of the border.
Yeah, and make the puzzle, no? Start making the puzzle of the region.
Yes, because some of the things that we see on the archaeological sites, we think it's normally geographically located, but I think personally it was part of a much wider geographical landscape. I think the present day modern borders are limiting a lot of the results of the research that we do.
Yeah, I agree with you for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
And another thing that I'm very curious regarding archaeology in Mozambique. Do you have many students?
Yeah, we have the archaeology bachelor's degree in Mozambique, so it runs from first to fourth year. So you need to do 4 years to get your BA in archaeology and heritage management. So basically, on the first year, we have more or less around 25 students, and then they go all the way to fourth year. But of course, some students they drop out and they give up and they go and do something else. But normally, let's say between 18 and 15 students, they go from first year to fourth year. So they get a bachelor's degree. So now, also the idea is that myself and other colleagues that also doing PhD, we should be opening our master's degree course in 3 or 4 years time. So that's the plan as well.
Those are great news.
Yeah. And then also in my university, Eduardo Mondlane University, in my department, we have the Archaeological Museum, which was opened 2 years ago. So we're doing some things, even with the limited resources that we have, but we're not waiting for miracles. We just keep working and keep improving. And the reason that I'm doing my PhD is that I get more tools to be able to continue with the work that I've been doing on the past years.
Yes, of course. And I believe that, or I suppose it's kind of similar to other countries. Is there field work? I mean, for archaeologists, because I remember we had a conversation about this in Faro in one of our meetings for the project, and you told me that it's very important to have also heritage management and other kind of things related with archaeology, so the students can feel more strongly prepared for the work. After the university.
Yeah, our as I said, our resources are very limited in Mozambique, like in many African countries, but also I think all over the world.
Yes.
Even here in Sweden, sometimes I see limitations in terms of field work. But for instance, with my PhD, because I stay very long in the field doing excavation, so I always take groups of students in different shifts. So they come and they learn like basic things in archaeology, from documentation, preparation of field work, excavations, technical methods, so on and so forth. I can give you an example. Next year, I'm gonna have three colleagues from Sweden and Jorg, and the other colleagues from Germany coming to Mozambique. And then while we're gonna be doing data collection, the students from the university in different levels, they're going to be in the field with us, so learning all those methods. So that's the idea. For instance, I'm gonna have a colleague from from the Netherlands. She's going to be doing petrographic analysis. So she'll show the students how to do research with ceramics. So she's going to be in the field with us for 3 weeks. And the idea is that she participates in the excavations, but at the same time, she's going to be teaching our students at the university. So I'm also using these collaborations that I have with different colleagues in Europe just to create more skills for our students.
Of course, this network, it's very important, so we can working together and moving forward with our projects. And especially what you are saying, preparing the students, it's so important to have more people working in these fields.
Yeah, actually, most of these started a long time ago in Mozambique. I think this tradition started in the 1970s with the work with Paul Sinclair and other colleagues, Paul Sinclair, Ricardo Teixeira Duarte, and João Moraes. They all started this connection between Sweden and Mozambique, and actually, it started in the 1970s. But now, with the collaboration that I've been having with Jorg and other colleagues in France, I think we have like we just opened a new perspective and a new highway that we can do things on a much regular basis. So that's what I'm trying to do, is to have like some sort of long-term collaboration that we just don't work, we don't stop working, we continue training our students, we continue improving the curriculum, we continue improving the quality of the research, but also not only archaeology but also heritage management, which is very important, because it's pointless for us just to excavate but not being able to preserve and to disseminate the results.
Yeah, for sure. Decio, this is the case study that you are presenting at the on MOOC, isn't it? The one you have with York.
Yes.
Can you explain us a little more about this project that our students will be able to enjoy?
It all started in 2013. I think I went to Germany for a conference and I met Friedrich, which is a colleague from York from the German Archaeological Institute. And then I think 2 or 3 years later, Jorg and him, they came to Mozambique, and then we started the conversation about having this collaboration. But initially, we didn't knew where to do the project. But I went to Germany, and myself and Jorg, we discussed. We had long discussions, and then realized that Southern Mozambique was the ideal place because Jorg was already starting a collaboration in South Africa as well with Alex Skuman from Wits University. So when we decided to do the work in Southern Mozambique, we realized that there was a lot of things common between the Mozambican side, in common between the Mozambican side and the South African side, but also Swaziland, which was also part of Jorg's interest. And then in 2018, we did our first season of field work, and then we realized that we have everything that we needed to keep ourselves busy for the rest of our lives. And then initially, in 2018, my main focus was my PhD project, which is about the Stone Age, as I already described. And later, we realized also that we could do something about the arrival of Bantu speakers, which is the area that Jorg is focusing. So, and now just the results of the survey and the few test pits and excavation that we did, it shows that we have lots to do. And then we're using this opportunity to train students. I have a master student that's in Mozambican master student that is doing his PhD, his master degree in Pretoria University in South Africa. With a colleague, I have 3 students that are doing their bachelor's degree in the site that I'm excavating. So, and then also the project with Jorg and Sabrina. Sabrina is doing her PhD in the area that I'm also doing my PhD. So, in this collaborative framework, we've been doing a huge data collection that is going to be useful not only for academic purpose, but I think later in terms of dissemination. And we actually, our plan is to start disseminating the result of the research not only on the academical review papers, journals, but also we want to do some sort of community project on the with the local communities, local schools, primary schools in the area that we're doing the research, secondary schools, hospitals, administrative authorities. So our plan is to have like some sort of mobile exhibition that we will travel within those places, within this area that we're doing our research, which is some sort of rural area in the middle of nowhere in southern Mozambique. But that's our plan, because we just don't want to present it in the cities where people are more accessible to information. But we want to start from the local communities, because at the end of the day, if the sites are there, it's because the local communities managed to preserve them. So that's our plan.
Yes, that's true. And Décio, what are your expectations, let's say, regarding the MOOC and the project, the online project?
I think we have a unique opportunity to not only to teach and transmit information, but also to create awareness about the relevance of studying not only prehistory but also heritage management. And then this awareness with this platform, we can accelerate the dissemination of these two tools, which is archaeology and heritage management, not only on the geographical spectrum of Africa, but let's say all over the world, because anyone all over the world can attend this course, can attend these courses. I think this is the relevance of this, is trying to have more people outside the continent focusing on studying or learning about African heritage and archaeology, or prehistory in that sense.
That for us is also having not only students from Africa, of course, but from around the world, and create that kind of network of knowledge, of interest, of awareness, as you are saying, of the richness of African heritage. It's amazing.
But also with the COVID-19 pandemic, it just taught us a lesson, because now most of the things are done online.
Yeah.
I think we have a unique opportunity that even our MOOC, we can also, apart from recording it, we can also do like online classes, like live with our students from all over the world. So actually, now I've been teaching for my students in Mozambique. I do it online now.
Yeah.
Because under the circumstances, they have to keep social distance, so on and so forth. We can do it. So it also gave us an opportunity to think about something else, not just to throw out videos and PowerPoints for the students, but for them to interact with the teachers. And I think it might be a very good possibility that we at least we can start this by doing like seminars at the end of each block of teaching.
I was going to tell you, it just gave me this beautiful idea. After each module, we could have like a webinar with the students and a couple of the teachers, even if we cannot connect all the teachers from each module.
Yes.
That would be amazing. Thank you, Décio. Great idea.
Yeah. No, I saw this because here in Uppsala, everything is done online at the moment. So even the seminars and the webinars. So I think that's the way to go.
Yes, you are right. Um, it's a good addition to you can have the online and then a little bit of more connection directly with the teacher and ask questions, and it's a very good idea indeed.
Yes.
Regarding the future, how do you see yourself, and if you have, well, you already told us that you have worked for all your life in the south of Mozambique, and that you are also have the project of the master degree, but in the long term, how do you see the archaeology in Mozambique, and what are your dreams, let's say, regarding archaeology for your country?
I think first of all, I think I need another life, because this one is not, it's not enough. There's lots to do. Even within the area that I'm doing research, there's like 1 million ideas that I have about that place.
Mm.
And I'm just talking an area that is sort of geographically the smallest province in Mozambique.
Yeah, imagine.
And then I'm having 1 million ideas. Uh, I see the future on a positive way. I have lots of things to do in terms of projects, in terms of academic potential that I see in the area. But also, I would like to connect not only archaeology and heritage management, but also other fields of science, things like botany, biology, anthropology, history.
Hmm.
Because I think we have, if we manage to have a more interdisciplinary approach on the project that we're having now, I think the results of the research will be much more strong, but also we can create an opportunity to engage not only with the local communities but also with the general public on a much easier way of presenting the results of the research. That's how I see the future. We have lots to do, but I think the challenges that we've been setting, we're setting challenges in a way that we can achieve those goals, but also we can create other challenges while we do the work that we're doing at the moment.
Yes. And what you were saying just reminded me that even with COVID also, we realized that maybe there will be some change in tourism, and local tourism will be increasing in the next year. So it will be also interesting for even in the region, no, if you can implement like more information in the sites. That's always very interesting for people to travel, not only inside Mozambique but from other regions in Africa to visit all this richness and all these sites. That may be also interesting perspective for implementing in the region that you are studying.
Yeah, but stretching what you just said, I think the key thing, it's not only the archaeological sites or the monuments or the pyramids in Egypt, for instance, but it's how do you present all this.
Completely.
So this is the key thing, because sometimes you don't need a museum, you just need a very good tour guide for you to get the feeling and an image of what happened in the past. That's what you need. But for that, you need people with training, you need the infrastructure, we need lots of skills that are needed in terms of human resources, so that you can have these packages to be sold in the market in terms of tourism. So there's a lot to be done. I think we're just scratching the surface at the moment.
That's why I wish you many lives so you can accomplish all your dreams.
Well, if I can get 7, I'll be happy, like a cat.
Like a cat. But I wish you that in this life you can achieve as many goals as you have set to you, and all your outstanding work, and to Mozambique, and also the connections with other colleagues from outside Mozambique. So I wish you all the luck, and I'm very happy that you are part of our project. And thank you for being here in the podcast.
Thanks for having me. If you have told me this 3 or 4 years ago, I wouldn't believe you.
Yes. So can you imagine in 3 years where you'll be?
Well, let's see. Let's do baby steps first.
Yes, exactly. One day at a time. Thank you, Décio.
Thank you, Sophia.
Thank you for joining the conversation with Décio Muianga, assistant professor at University Eduardo Mondlane in Maputo, Mozambique, and a teacher in our MOOC on African Archaeology and Heritage. Décio decided to become an archaeologist after seeing a movie of Indiana Jones when he was at 5th grade, and since then he has been moving forward with his dreams and ambitions to promote archaeology and heritage management in his country. And we are sure he will not stop until a generation of archaeologists is well established in Mozambique. Thank you for that, Indiana. On the next few weeks, we'll keep on having conversations with our teachers around the course and their personal projects. Subscribe to the podcast and our newsletter, and let's be friends on Facebook and Instagram. Take care and keep safe. I will talk to you soon.